I already said it to Jason Aaron. Same thing goes to you, Scott Snyder. I'm here for you whenever you need that hug. But seriously, I got questions. I got all kinds of questions. So stick to the end, because I'm letting them all out. Support the comic book industry by visiting your local comic book store. My name is Dorian. This is SCM Comics. We continue our coverage of Absolute Batman. Well, number 9. Our story starts off in Bialya, where you have the two warring countries of Conduct and Kuwak. That's the best I can do. Like, it's a fictional country in the DC universe. Who the hell cares? Yes, I said Conduct. So, Scott Snyder, you put it out there. So now, eventually, you're going to have to write it. I need an absolute Black Adam comic. These two leaders are having peace talks, and they're discussing about all the family members that they lost during their, everlasting war. Like, the general from Conduct lost his grandfather and his father. The guy from Caracas lost his son last month. So they're like, this is pointless. We need to stop this. We need to be friends. And they come to that conclusion. As they're walking out to the door, all of a sudden there's blood seeping into the room. They open up the door and they see a guy that's actually taller and wider than the doorway. He makes his way in because how you gonna stop something that big? So it's like, you guys are having peace talks. And it seems like everything's going well. That's good. Unfortunately, peace talks are going to break down because one is going to betray the other. I just need to know which one. So the general from Conduct's like, no, we're not betraying each other. Omar just lost his son last month and we're going to stop all this bloodshed. Omar went straight and was like, I'll do it. Like, his whole cart was pulled as soon as he opened the door. Bane picks up the general with one hand by his head. For all my Game of Thrones fans, you remember when Pedro Pascal was fighting the mountain and he was getting to his ass, but then he made one mistake and the mountain grabbed his head and popped it like a watermelon? Same thing happens here, except for the mountain needed 2 hands. Bane only needed 1. Bane picks up Omar by his neck. And I am so sad that they named this dude Omar, because Omar from The Wire, he was a beast. This Omar, straight. He's probably pissing on himself as Bane is giving him orders. Once he's done changing this dude's religion, he gets a phone call and he's like, Gotham, I'm on my way. So speaking of Gotham City, it is a war zone all over again, but a little different type of war zone. Now, if you've been rocking with the channel or just been following Absolute Batman the whole time, then you know that Maroni and Falcone, they both got murdered by Black Mask. But the families are still around, and they are getting dealt with. You see, Waylon Jones, who will eventually become Killer Croc, in the last issue got kidnapped. That's Batman's best friend, and he ain't taking no prisoners. He is whooping everybody's ass trying to find out what happened to his friend. When I mean whipping ass, whipping ass. Alfred's doing the narrating, and he pretty much is like, he beat so many people up last night that they actually ran out of ambulances. So they started using rideshare services, and they ran out of those too. To the point we see one MT riding in a rickshaw carrying like 3 dudes that just got beat up by Batman. And this MT is like, you know what? Batman. But it's not just any MT. His name is D. Grayson. Dick Grayson. Yes, we got our first appearance in the Absolute Universe of Dick Grayson. And he's a grown-ass man with a job. We know how young Batman is. If they do team up, and there's going to ever be Batman and Robin, and Dick Grayson's going to be Robin, and it ain't going to be no father-son thing. That's for damn sure. So now we got the Barbara Gordon, who's talking to her dad, and she's microwaving her dinner before her shift starts. When all of a sudden, she hears somebody trying to talk to her in her house, and she doesn't know where it's coming from. So she grabs her gun, she's looking around, she goes into her office, and she has Batman's cow, which she got when she hit him with the car. You guys remember that. If not, link to the playlist will be in the description. Anyway, the sound's coming from the cow because I guess there's a two-way radio in there. And Batman's like, hey, I need your help. Then we cut to the zoo, of all places. Also to the Signal, of all places, where Batman meets Barbara Gordon and she hands him a file on Waylon Jones. And she asks Batman, why are you asking me for help? And he's like, because you're a good cop. Maybe only one. So then she's like, well, and the file looks like we're the ones who kidnapped your friend. And then he takes the file to his friends, Riddler, Two-Face, the Penguin, Alfred's there too. And it looks like he got shipped to Ark M, which we knew from the last issue. So once Penguin questions who the hell Alfred is, and Batman lets him know that everything's okay, Alfred lets him know that there are 12 of these Ark sites around the world, and bad things tend to happen at these sites. So Penguin's like, how the hell are they taking Waylon to Ark M? Like, did they just start building that place? And Harvey lets him know that, no, actually that's not the case. That they've been building at that site for a very long time. That JK Industries, which is the Joker, bought it in the 1930s. That raises my first question. How old is the Joker? Like, is this generational money that the Joker has? Or is he just that old and he's been building it up over time because he knows Ra's al Ghul and he's been dipping himself in the Lazarus pit? And also, is he one of the investors that he was talking to when he was viciously murdering Omega Man? I got questions. Who got the answers? I mean, besides Scott Snyder. You're not allowed to chime in. Anyway, Penguin says it's a crazy idea. Batman gets pissed off, hits the tables, like, I don't care how crazy it is. We need to go save Waylon. Penguin's like, look, all I'm saying is crazy. I didn't say we shouldn't do it. So then we cut to Jim Gordon, who is no longer the mayor because he lost the race. And him and Martha Wayne, Bruce's mother, are packing up the campaign office. And she's like, is that it? And he's like, yeah, that's it. Like, literally, we have to be out of here because they already leased the place. So she's like, all right, well, what we gonna do, leader? And he's like, nope, that is not the case no more. I'm not leading anymore. I am going to follow your lead now. So then we do a flashback where Bruce and Selina Kyle, black Selina Kyle. I know that racist Irish or Scottish dude is having a fit right now, like the Batman movie never happened. And they are butt naked on the bed with a pile of money. And then there's a knock on the door. Bruce goes to it and he's like, oh, it's just Waylon. He lets him in and he's like, I got the fight. And he's talking about how he got the title fight. I guess there was another contender that was supposed to fight, but he didn't make weight. So now the fight goes to Waylon. And he's going to fight Bibbo Bukowski. That's the big dude that Black Mass had to beat up on. I guess he's the champion. And in the main DC universe, that's actually one of Superman's friends. And he wants Bruce to help him train. And Bruce is like, there's like 10 other people that would be way better to help you train for this fight than me. And Waylon's like, who cares? I want you. And that's all that matters. So you going to be on Team Croc? And Bruce is like, I'm on Team Croc. And then he looks at the bed and he's like, what's up with all this money? So then we cut to Batman and Alfred, and Bruce is getting ready to go for a swim. He's not diving in. No. He gets shot up because his big old bat dump truck is at the bottom of, I guess, let's say Gotham Harbor, Gotham Lake, Gotham something. Using the blueprints that they got from Harvey, they get in easy enough. Bruce makes his way in with little to no effort. So Bruce tells Alfred that he's there. And Alfred's like, what are you talking about? According to these blueprints, you still should be like 100 meters away. Bruce is like, well, I'm here. And it is massive. Like, it's an underground city that might be just as big as Gotham is. Now, as Batman's making his way in, Alfred is thinking to himself how he should have told Bruce more. Like, he didn't lie to Bruce, but he didn't tell him the whole truth. Like, he knows that he's dealing with the Joker. That means he knows eventually he's going to have to deal with Bane, who he knows all about. And as soon as Batman walks into this room, all of a sudden, communications have been cut. And Batman is looking at a skeleton of, it looks like, a huge man bat. Yeah, that's Man-Bat. Like, let's go ahead and say that's Man-Bat. And then Bane walks up behind him. He says hello and he kicks the out of him. And then in my best Tom Hardy voice, he goes, "Go on, it's okay." And Batman uses his cape and he slings it right into Bane, and it goes into like both of his shoulders. And Bane just goes, "You can advance now." So Batman does. He blocks the punch and he goes, "Muay Thai, nice." He takes 2 fingers and he hits the left elbow of Batman's arm, and it's done. And then Bane goes, "It's okay, focus, you got another arm." So Batman attacks with his other arm, and Bane goes, "So took that, smart." He takes 1 finger, hits his right elbow, that arm is done. And then he punches the bejesus out of Batman, which he probably would have caved in his chest if he didn't have that huge chest plate there. So then Bane's like, "Look at me, hey, over here. That's right, you still got your legs." And Batman's like, "F you." So Batman does a kick, and Bane goes, "The Rock, impressive." Takes them 2 fingers, hits Batman's right knee, that's done. And then he punches him in the face for good measure. So then Batman's like, "You know what? Come on. I only need 1 good leg to kick your ass, you juiced up." And then Bane cuts him off, was like, "Juiced up? Friend, I haven't even used the stuff yet. But if you want me to." So he starts using the venom, and it's Incredible Hulk-esque. Like, it is gruesome. And Batman is just on his knees and he's like, "What are you?" And then Bane picks him up with his fingertips, his whole head with his fingertips, because that's how big Bane is. He's just bigger than the Hulk. I know they're different universes, I know they're 2 different comic companies, but he's bigger than the Hulk. And he goes, "Call me Bane. Welcome to the new home. Let's get you prepped for surgery." The only question is this. Batman couldn't beat Bane when he's regular Bane, which regular Bane is as big as a house. Regular Bane is Joe Fix-It, Mr. Fix-It. Like, that's how big regular Bane is, and he can't beat that Bane. How the hell is he going to beat something that looks like that? There's no way. There's no way. You did it, Scott Snyder. You went over the edge. You had this great Batman. I'm like, man, this dude's big as hell. But then you had to go overboard and make this monster who can't be beat. I don't care what you can't beat this Bane. Plain simple. You can't. Superman might have issues beating this Bane. Let me know in the comments how you guys feel.